Success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction, right? And knowing that you made an effort to become the best of which you are capable of being. These 5 things, I can honestly say that if you implement these 5 things, they will change your life forever. Okay. They'll make your life so much easier. And I just want to give that to you because I know that some of you need it. Some of you, like when I look back on my journey, like Russell Brunson, you guys will hear about him here in a minute, but Russell told me something the other day and he was like, hey man, look at those people in your group and think that they're all sitting right now in the place you were 5 years ago. Well, 5 years ago, I was in my agency. I was working freaking 18 hours a day. I was scaling up, doing my first $1 million in a year. And so I needed to learn scaling. I needed to learn all this stuff. But bigger than anything, I needed to learn relationships. I needed to learn myself. I needed to understand the experience and what I was really going through. And so I want to talk to you guys about that here tonight. And that's what we're going to be going through. So the first thing I want to talk to each and every one of you guys about is just paying attention, right? Like learning how to pay attention is, I believe, the most undervalued thing I see in the world today, right? I just told you a little bit about Russell Brunson, or I mentioned his name. I was just at this funnel hacking live event. If you guys don't know what that event is, it's held every year by Russell Brunson, who owns ClickFunnels, right? Russell's the owner of ClickFunnels. He hosts an event where you get anywhere from like 5,000 to 10,000 entrepreneurs into a single room, right? Big old stage, etc. And me and Sean actually were awarded something just this year because we had one funnel. I hope you guys know what a funnel is, but one funnel that did over $10 million in 1 year. Okay. So we did 8 figures with one funnel. I think I got, let me see. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. So we just got awarded this just at this funnel hacking, but it's one funnel me and Sean Coachell did that produced $10 million, right, in 12 months, which is really, really cool. But anyways, I was sitting there, right, and I'm watching him up there on stage, and I was really blown away because, you know, I've looked up to this guy for so long. I remember he's been around just as long as I have in the online space, but I was paying attention to every word that was really just coming out of his mouth, right? I was just really, really paying attention to it. And just so you guys know, right before this event, he was offered over $1 billion valuation for his company. And so I'm sitting there and he didn't sell it. Obviously, his heart and soul was put in it, just like my heart and soul is put into the family and everything I have going on, right? So he didn't sell it, but it offered over $1 billion for this thing. But I'm sitting there, I'm paying super close attention to everything this guy has to say because he's not the one hosting the event anymore, right? He gets up, talks for a few minutes, and then he's gone for the rest of the day. So I'm paying attention to every word that comes out of his mouth. And then, holy shit, just like that, he says something, right? And you guys know how big I am on keys. So he dropped this key. And I was so caught up in the moment. And I wanted to know if anybody else caught what I was looking, right? So I'm looking back from the front row and I'm looking at these 5,000 to 10,000 people. There had to probably be like 7,000, something like that in the room. And I'm thinking, hey, they all caught what I just caught, right? But when I look back, all I saw was phones, right? Phones recording Russell, phones on people's ears, phones scrolling Facebook. They're just sitting there scrolling Facebook, phones with people texting their friends, hanging out, right? And it was like almost nobody was paying attention but me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was blown away. So when I was telling you guys to pay attention and that paying attention is a point of power, I don't want you to take it lightly. I'm not talking about paying attention 70% of the time. I'm talking about paying attention 100% of the time, right? When we pay attention 100% our life becomes transformed. When we pay 100% attention to growth, right? To growing ourselves, to growing our business, then we become growth. That's just all there is to it. When we pay 100% attention to the taste of food, right? We become the taste of food. I'm sure all of you have done that when you like slowed down what you were doing, and maybe you're sitting at a restaurant. I know I have. I ate like I can't even remember, Wagyu freaking steak or something. It had a freaking serial number for this steak, but I was like, fuck it, I could afford it. So I bought it. And I remember I was sitting there and I was just like paying so much attention to the steak and what it was, sliced off a piece of it, ate it. And I feel like I just became that taste, right? And so it's like paying 100% attention. So, but how often do you sit at the dinner table watching television? Never tasted the meal you're eating, right? How often do you consume dinner while thinking about the events of the day or worrying about appointments and bills, right? Only when you're not distracted can you fully experience the richness of the food that you put in your mouth, right? Only when I said, you know what? I paid enough money, so I'm going to pay attention to this, that I became that steak, that I felt it was the best fucking steak still to this day. I tell D all the time, I need to go back there and get another one. But it's only until I paid enough money to pay attention that I became that steak. And that's what I'm talking about here tonight, is paying 100% attention, right? And only when we are paying attention can we gain those keys, can we gain that knowledge that's going to take us to the next level. A lot of us spend our attention on things that don't benefit us, right? We get into an Uber heading downtown to eat, and this is like real shit, by the way. We head down to like jump in an Uber to head downtown to our favorite sushi spot, right? Only to find out that Uber driver smells like a bag of fucking ass, right? And that whole 25-minute drive, we're putting our attention on the driver and how bad he smells, instead of looking at the beautiful sunset that's going down right outside our window, right? The truth is, life is always going to hand us smelly Uber drivers, right? It's always going to happen. You're always going to have some kind of experience there. And it's always handing us a sunset to pay attention to, too. It's up to you to choose what you want to experience. When you feel miserable, it's because you're focusing on the Uber drivers of the world. And all you need to do is find the sunset to pay attention to 100%. And remember, life is set up so that when one door gets slammed, someone's there. There's some window there left open, right? Every single time. Door shuts, window opens, another door opens. There's always something positive when you're in a negative. You just have to look for it, and you have to focus on it 100%. Because even 80%, if we're just doing 80% sunset, then we still are miserable 20% of the time on that 25-minute ride with that Uber driver, right? So what we focus on matters. What we pay attention to matters. And it's one of the biggest PowerPoints I can leave you here with tonight, all right? So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, obviously, is speaking the truth, right? I know some of you are like, what the fuck? Speaking the truth. I know a lot of you are like, no shit, Josh, right? But I'm here to tell you it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just knowing it's the right thing to do. When you speak the truth as a commitment to your own growth, you align yourself with the tremendous power. Truth is when you're describing your feelings or you relate something that you've experienced in your past, right? Truth comes from deep inside you, and you have to understand that words are powerful. So you have to be watching and making sure that your words are a service to yourself first and foremost, and then to others, right? When we're speaking them. And when we speak about our inner experience, our words are going to bring you closer with other people, right? This growing closer that you get from other people when you speak the truth is a direct reflection of the other people's instinctive love for sincerity. That's what's happening, right? So as we develop an ability to monitor what we say, you're going to discover that when you speak the truth, you'll start to feel better about yourself and your relationships with others, right? Every single day, you'll just get better and better when you keep speaking that truth. Speaking the truth, a lot of people think, spreading gossip about other people is speaking the truth. I don't find that as truth. I think that you need to find that relevance, that connection, that experience that you went through, and speak from that. You look at people in our group all the time, like Simon, Bree, Jonathan, Melissa, all those people are doing that day in and day out. That's why a lot of members are attracted to them, right? Because they speak the truth. They speak what they went through, what they desire, what they have going on, their experience, right? And so you're attracted to that experience. You're attracted to their truth telling, right? So speaking the truth shows others that you have integrity, right? And that you're going to start to become somebody who can be trusted. So when you receive trust and respect, you tend to trust and respect others more easily as well, right? Like the quality of your day, I can say this, when you speak the truth and you expect others to speak the truth as well, right? And you're building that trust, you're building that respect within the whole group, the entire quality of your day-to-day experience becomes enriched. It's like there's this, it's almost like a love that you get out of it, right? When I'm sitting there speaking to Simon and we're just bouncing ideas back and forth, and I know he's speaking his desires and I'm speaking my desires, and we're both empowering each other to go after those. It's so fucking beautiful, right? But speaking the truth is a power, right? And this power has been known for thousands of years. And as you align yourself with that truth, your self-esteem starts to grow, right? And you start to consistently reflect back on the way people relate to you, right? I remember when I was first starting out, guys, and I remember I was in the digital marketing space, and I would line up these meetings with business owners, one after another. It would take me an entire day to lay out this scope of work. Back then, we didn't call it scope of work. I called it like plan of attack. So back then, I called it plan of attack. But either way, I was laying out these plan of attacks and I just getting everything ready, spending the entire day. I was so excited to land these deals. But then when I would get there, I would automatically start lying, right? I would lie to the person about how I had 5 other customers in that niche and how this and how that and how many sites I had ranked over time. And the crazy thing is, I never landed a single customer. And I was so upset about it one day. I was so fucking upset. Dee used to actually pick on me for this. She'd go, dude, you lied. You lied again. And I was like, this was me working on my character. This was years ago, but this happened, right? And so I would lie. And one day I got so fed up with it. And she kept telling me that this is what it was from. And I didn't believe her. So I was like, fuck it. So I picked up the phone and I called this guy and I just asked him straight up, why didn't you go with me? He said, Josh, it's because I could tell you were being inauthentic. That was the day that I learned the power of telling the truth, right? That day right there. And so you have to tell the truth. That's it. You have to tell the truth. You have to speak the truth, right? You have to. And the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, not the first time I've talked to you about it, but the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is ask for what you want. And like I told you at the beginning of the night, I know these things. I read them off to you at the beginning because people that don't want to be here, I was hoping they would jump off, right? Because these are fucking powerful. And if you take these and use these, you will grow your life. You will grow your life, tremendously grow your life. And so I know when I read them off to you, they sound kind of unimportant, but I promise you, these are probably some of the most important things in my life. Most important things in my life. So obviously the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is asking for what you want, right? And like I said, I say this all the time, right? The things I usually say that you guys probably hear, scream from the rooftops, right? Tell the world what you want, right? But this goes deeper than that. You can instantly reap the benefit of a simple action of asking for what you want by verbalizing just your wants and needs, right? The problem that I see that most people have isn't that they're afraid to ask, because we all get to the point where we ask or tell people what we do, but it's that before you ask for what you want, you need to know what you want. You have to know what you want. That's it. And this is an example. I have a friend that has been looking for a woman for a long time, right? Constantly looking for a woman. I also have a woman friend that's constantly looking for a man. But for instance, it's not easy enough to say or simple enough to say that I want a woman in my life, right? Because he's saying, I want a woman in my life. She's saying, I want a man in my life. But they got to get specific, and you have to get specific as well. What height is she? What are her likes? What are her dislikes? What color hair does she have? What career is she in? What does she enjoy doing on Sundays, right? The more specific that you are, the more likely that you're going to get what you want. More and more, I'm seeing that people just don't know what they want, or they're so surface level about what they want, so they can't speak it. They can't speak it all day to the universe, right? And get what they want out of it. Others don't believe what's coming out of their mouth. So when they're speaking it, I want a woman. Like, I want a woman. And I'm like, do you really though? What color hair does she have? What kind of car does she? What's her career? Is she in digital marketing too? Right? Like, these are the questions that come to my mind, and I don't even want a woman. I'm just a friend. So why aren't they coming to your mind? You got to get more specific, right? So if you're not clear, you need to get clear. Clarity is in your focus, right? It's in your 4 F's. You have to if you want to ask the world for what you want, you got to know what you want. Family, fitness, finance, faith. I talk about this all the time. And no surface level shit. Too often you guys jump in here and you're surface level on family. I want to have a good relationship with my son. What the fuck does that look like? Does he play Sunday? Or does he play football? And then every Sunday you need to sit in the sun for 8 hours so that you can show him that you care. Doesn't matter if you like football, don't like football, show the fuck up, right? Like, what is it that you must do? What is the steps, right? We got to get clear on this. We got to have clarity with our fitness, with our finance, with our faith. We have to, okay? So imagine this. Imagine sitting down at a dinner, right? You're sitting down and there's everything that you can imagine on the table. And as you sit there, the people around you, right? Everybody in family's sitting there with you and there's this table full of food, everything you can imagine. And everybody around you is grabbing what they want, right? You know, I'd be grabbing it up, right? Hollering across the table. Hey, D, pass me the mashed potatoes. Hey, right? Like just doing all of that. And before you know it, all the food is gone. This is you if you're not clear on the 4 Fs. This is you starving. This is you going another day without a client or a lead gen that's producing leads, right? But it doesn't have to be. So all you have to do is get clear, then ask for what you want. Tell the world what you want, and it's going to bring it to you, okay? So super important, asking for what you want. The next thing I want to go over is taking responsibility for your experience. I know this can go a million different ways, but like I said, I always like to go deeper on things because I think that we're a deeper group, right? Super deeper. So I want to go off that. I think too often, people think that, we think that people causes the fill, right? Just other people, whatever it is goes on inside of us. Like, she made me angry or he made my heart feel full. And what I'm here to say is that these statements deny us of how we create our own experience, right? I'm not here to say that these experiences don't happen. I'm just here to tell you that external events are merely just stimulating situations, and we are free to choose our own response to those situations, right? We're not robots, guys. We're not robots. We don't have to automatically respond a specific way when a button's pushed, right? Boom, hit enter, we have to do this. No, that's not how it is. We're free to select whatever response that we desire. So as soon as we give up blaming others, right, we can start seeing a new reality with a new perspective. Instead of saying, she made me angry, right? Because a lot of you probably go, she made me angry. My son pissed me off. Right? It's what we don't see is that's actually blame, right? What I think, instead of saying, she made me angry, we should probably rephrase it. Something like, when she does that, I'm reminded of a similar experience from my past and I react with anger, right? So that's giving me back power. By doing this, I'm taking responsibility. I'm taking back power for my experience. And that's what it means to really own your experience, to take responsibility for your experience, okay? So we have to stop creating ourselves as a victim because all it does is constantly make us feel helpless, right? As soon as you change the way you take responsibility, you're going to start to realize that you can change any experience internally. It doesn't need external forces anymore, right? Danelle, Joshua, Kale, they can say whatever they want, right? Whatever they please, but I don't have to respond a certain way, right? I don't have to. We make ourselves angry. We make ourselves happy. We make ourselves inspired, and we make ourselves lazy if we want to be, right? You're the master of your own life, right? I can take 10 people in this room right now. They're all raised in the same town, in the same types of families, and get 10 different reactions to one situation, right? I can do the same thing to every single one of you and get 10 different reactions. Each of us create our own experience based on our past, right? No one can presume to know what another person is experiencing. It's just not possible. We can only be sure of our own experience and know that we have the ability to transform the experience that we have, right? So once you take full 100% responsibility for your own experience, you're going to see how possible it is to change things in your life that used to be, things of regret. The future suddenly starts to brighten up, right? With all the new possibilities, and you're going to be able to take control of your destiny. And I think that's super important. I kind of want to sit there for a minute. I hope this is hitting with some of you guys, because I think this is super fucking important to take responsibility. I think sometimes we do it, and we do it just on the surface, just like we set our goals on the surface. I think we do that with responsibility. I think we go, I'm taking responsibility for my life because I'm building my business. But if your wife comes in the middle of your live, are you taking responsibility if you get angered? Did that come from that situation? Can you control your mindset with that, right? Can you slow yourself down, figure out where that anger actually came from? Maybe it was when Josh was 3 years old and he kept running in on your lives and you were just getting started and you were so nervous to be on lives in the first place that you kept throwing a fit every time the baby would come in, right? It's like, where did it come from? Being able to track that down and take responsibility for your experience, okay? The next thing I want to talk to you guys about is protecting your time and protecting your mind, okay? And this goes pretty hard, right? I think life can be like super hectic, right? We have work, grinding, growing, our friends, our bills, obligations. We got a shit ton of obligations, and we start to feel like the minutes like that we have are fewer and fewer, right? Fewer and fewer, far between every single time. And if you're like me, you begin your day at 5 a.m. in the morning and you shut down at like 11 p.m. And there's not a single minute missed in between. So you have to protect your time. You have to. But as humans, it's our nature, right? I always said givers gain. It's our nature to want to help ease the pain and worries of those people that we care about, right? And as a result, we give a lot of ourselves each and every day to be empathetic to everyone around us, right? But I'm here to tell you, not everyone deserves your time. And not everyone deserves your mind. If you're constantly giving out advice and time, you're going to wear yourself out. You're going to get trapped in the confines of only like giving, never growing, right? So if we're constantly in this group and we're constantly giving, and you don't have a client, stop. Go out and take care of your needs. Go out and take care of what you have. Let's go make some money. Let's go create the desires and the things that we want in our lives, right? That's super important, right? Your energy, it may seem endless to others, and I get this all the time, but I know that beneath the smiles and beneath the positivity, we're all exhausted. I'm exhausted sometimes, right? And the more that I deny myself this truth, the more likely I'm overextending myself, and I end up in either mental or physical problems every single time. Ask my wife. This is a constant thing for me. So either I wear myself out. I'm working like 18, 19, 20, sometimes 20-hour days, and I get into like this grind mode and I just get stuck there, and my wife has to stop me and go, stop, boom, move me over, like sit down, just do this. So this is what I've been doing. So she started doing that to me probably about a year ago. And there's 3 things that I really do now that have really helped me that I know will help you. And the way that I'm talking to you guys, as you guys know, is speaking to you like where I was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, right? And I feel that you guys are probably in the same spot to where your time's being eaten up. So I want you to do these 3 things. I want you to set clear boundaries, okay? And I'm talking super clear boundaries. If I'm in my office and I'm busy, don't bother me, right? Don't bother me. If you come in, you're not getting my attention. I got to be out there. I got to be walking around. I got to be present to be able to get my attention, right? So set some clear boundaries, and everybody's boundaries are different. There's no right or wrong. There's just what works for you. That's not going to burn you out, right? Another thing I do, guys, is I set aside 1 hour every single day just for me, okay? No phone calls, no texts, no bullshit, right? Just 1 hour a day. Meditation, freaking hot sauna, hot tub, freaking cold plunge, like just 1 hour every single day where I can think to myself, for myself, and stay in self, okay? You really need that. And then limit yourself to negative people. This is one of my most important things. Like I said, not everybody deserves your time. If somebody is negative in your life, if you know every time you talk to them, they're negative, cut them off. I don't give a fuck who they are. Cut them off. Either they'll change their negativity when they talk to you so that you can remain a positive person, or they won't and they can be over there, okay? Doesn't mean you don't love them, but they're over there, okay? And I think that's important for each and every one of you to really protect your time, protect your mind, okay? So obviously the 3 things we went over today: pay attention, speak the truth, ask for what you want, take responsibility for your experience, right? Protect your time and your mind, Okay. Those things are all super important. And I know some of you are probably like sitting there right now and going, oh yeah. You guys probably want to know what Russell Brunson said, right? Up on that stage when I was like light bulb moment. This is what he said. He said, success is peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction, right? And knowing that you made an effort to become the best of which you are capable of being. That's why I made these PowerPoints here for you tonight, to guide you to success and your peace of mind. Because I thought that was super important. It was important for me. It was a huge takeaway for me. And so I figured it'd be a huge takeaway for you as well.